It was quite peaceful until...
This bloke here is not here for any purpose of reason. He's under arrest. But this guy here is going to be placed under arrest right now.
Well, I'm under arrest. I'm media. I am media. I'm media. I've got my permit in my pocket. My permit is in my pocket. I'm fine. I want to start this report by firstly thanking everyone for all the love and support you've shown since the footage of my unprovoked and violent arrest on Saturday was released. And an extra special thanks to the over 10,000 people who have already signed my petition. It's humbling. If you haven't signed it, I'm sure after watching this report, you're going to want to. So when you're done, head over to standwithavi.com and sign and share my petition demanding an end to the Victorian police state that detains journalists for doing our job. This report is going to show you what really happened on Saturday. From the moment I head to the protest, it exposes how police are abusing their new state of emergency powers, and even worse, how the mainstream media is helping them get away with it. Watch it from the beginning to the end and then share it far and wide. This is one of the protests that I actually have no idea how it's going to end today. We're now driving to the Freedom Day rally, the anti-lockdown protest that has been banned in Melbourne. You've seen over the past week, we've seen Victoria Police heavy-handedly kicking in doors, arresting pregnant women in their homes in an effort to stop this rally from happening today. Police warn that the entrances into the city are going to be blocked, so we're expecting probably a roadblock here. You're going to live it, experience it. I'm going to take you all the way into the city and then to the protest, and we're going to report on what's actually happening there, because we know that the mainstream media is not going to give you the truth. Here we go. This is Dictator Dan speaking right now, live on the way.
8 Victorians in hospital. 21 of those are receiving intensive care and 15 of those 21 are on a ventilator. Ballarat has just 2 active cases.
There's 2 active cases. They arrested her in front of her children, dragged her out of her home in cuffs. For 2 active cases, there's over 100,000 people who live in Ballarat. The chances of her protest causing an outbreak, having any sort of risk, is near to none. The crazy thing is, during Black Lives Matter, they allowed those protests to happen, where the threat was far more real at the time. Here we go, we've got a roadblock ahead. Apparently, COVID compliance checks is a euphemism for shutting down free protest. Here we go, guys. 3 in the car and they're filming is the problem. There you go, mate.
Not too bad, how are you?
Yeah, good. There's my work permit.
What's your name?
Avi Yamini, that's my work permit, mate.
Your last name?
Yamini.
Oh, okay. No,
Internet publishing and broadcasting for news media purposes.
no dramas.
As per the guidelines.
Absolutely. That's
We've got
fine.
3 permits if you want.
That's fine.
They're all from the same house, Iggy?
Not from the same house. We've got 3 separate permits if you need.
Yeah, but you're travelling inside a car.
That's part of the work.
3 people.
That's the work. The job is the whole journey. So that's part of...
Can you describe the work to me?
So I'm a journalist for Rebel News under the Yemeni Report. And this is my sound guy, that's my cameraman. And our job today is to cover what is happening in the CBD
So
and this.
We're going to ask you to park there so we can have a chat.
No problems.
Thank you.
Here we go.
License as well?
I have it on my phone, yes.
Now, where's your permit, sir?
Guys, can you provide the permits? So they're obviously...
You're going to need permit, right?
Yeah, they've got the permits. Give me the permits. You can... That's 1 permit.
Where's your work here? Your work.
Okay, so we're starting at the shrine and then we're following it through to Parliament, wherever it's going. That's what it says on the permit as per the regulation. Can I ask you, basically Channel 9, Channel 7, they're all coming here. Are you going to question them the same way?
This is what we're doing here.
Okay, I'm just asking because you seem to not understand what the media does.
Yeah. This is what
Okay,
we're doing.
here's the permits. Here's the permits.
We are just doing the job.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
That's our task.
That's fine. So let me make it clear. We're going to cover the events in the CBD and the roadblocks and everything that was announced. That's why we have 3 in a car. We have the permits as per the. Here we go.
Thanks, mate.
And we
Got
are.
an ID from everyone?
Yep. Give me the IDs, boys. You see it?
Yeah, mate.
I think you know who I am.
Yeah, I do.
How you doing? You having a good day?
Good, mate.
In our work, you got to stay very, very carefully within the guidelines, because unlike the mainstream media, I highly doubt they're doing this for the mainstream media. Thank you, sir.
Just bear with me. Right?
Yeah, no problem. We're bearing right with you. The world is very interested to see how they're going to react to media covering what's happening in Victoria.
Okay, thank you very much. We have checked your.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your service. This is a crucial moment because police pulled us over. They challenged me a little bit. They didn't want me to go in, but I provided all the required legal documentation. And in his words, they checked our credentials and were all right to go. From here, we head straight to the Shrine of Remembrance, where the protests were planned to start. I began doing my job just like any of the other journalists there.
20 against 1. He just said his opinion.
And just like the other journalists there, I followed the protesters as they marched for a good couple of hours to Albert Park. Over the next few days, I'll release a lot more of what happened on the march. I mean, like the stuff that you won't see in the mainstream media. But this report, I want to focus on how the police behaved as they trapped the protesters by the Albert Park Lake. So there's been numerous, quite intense, heavy-handed arrests here today. We walked around there was probably a good 2 hours where there was no arrest, no anything. It was quite peaceful until...
This bloke here is not here for any purpose of reason. Going under arrest. But this guy here is going to be placed under arrest right now. Well, I'm under arrest.
I'm just going to stop here for a second. As you can see, I was just doing my job. There was no one even around me. The bloke marched up to me while I was doing a piece to camera. You can actually hear me laugh because I seriously thought he was joking. If you watch my content before, you'll know that sometimes cops walk up to me and banter a little bit. You know, I guess they like my work, or they appreciate it, or they find it funny, or they see my sense of humor and they join in. But I quickly realized that this power-hungry commander was not bantering. No arrest, no anything. It was quite peaceful until...
This bloke here is not here for any purpose of reason. Going under arrest. But this guy here is going to be placed under arrest right now. Well, I'm under arrest.
I am media. I'm media. I've got my permit in my pocket. My permit is in my pocket. I'm fine. I've got my permit in my pocket. I work for Rebel News. I am lawfully here. I've got my permit in my pocket. My permit is in my pocket. I'm fine. I've got my permit in my pocket. I work for Rebel News. I am lawfully here. Can you grab that? And that's my mic cover there. Yep. And can you give it to my staff?
Bend this one.
Can you grab the mic and the mic cover there? So at this point, police forcibly take me away with my hands still cuffed behind my back like I'm some sort of violent criminal. But what they didn't realise is I was still mic'd up and was recording everything they were about to say. So, what did I do exactly?
Hinder.
Hinder what? How did I hinder?
Hey?
How did I hinder? I've got my permit in my back pocket. I got a pass. I was at the roadblock. I got let in properly. I followed all the chief health officers. Directions.
He said,
I have the work permit, and it was checked as I came in here by Victoria Police. So I've got it all on camera.
yeah, no, you're here for a hinder.
What hinder? What's a hinder?
Hinder police. You're not here for...
What did I hinder police with? How did I hinder police? How did I hinder police?
I'll just tell you.
Is that on? Is that camera on?
Yeah, it's on.
It tends to go missing. So how did I hinder police allegedly?
Hey?
How did I allegedly hinder police? That's what I'd like to know. You've placed me under arrest. You haven't told me how I've hindered police at all.
But we've told you you're under arrest, don't we?
Yeah, on what basis? For what? Basically, they couldn't get me for breaching any COVID restrictions, so they had to make up a hindering allegation. Only there's one problem which you all witnessed. I was alone with no one around me. I wasn't stopping anyone from doing anything, let alone hindering police. But the arresting officer then goes off and talks and left me alone with two other cops holding me still with my hands tightly cuffed because I was some sort of threat. So I thought I might as well chat to them. After all, I was there to get some answers. I feel for you. Why don't you think they did this with Black Lives Matter? Why didn't they?
Because it wasn't illegal.
It was illegal to protest in Black Lives Matter, mate.
It wasn't COVID.
What? It was.
It wasn't stage 4.
It was so Ballarat's stage 3. Ballarat's the same. Why is Ballarat illegal?
Look, you got your opinion?
I don't have an opinion. I'm asking you facts.
I don't answer your facts.
I'm having a conversation. You got me here in cuffs.
I'm doing my job here.
I agree. I feel for you, bro. I feel for you. I feel for you that you have to do so. I just want to understand why there's such a heavy-handed response to a protest that I'm not even a part of. I don't actually agree with half these guys. But the fact that you're going in like this, arresting journalists, because why? Because it's stage 4. But Ballarat stage 3, police. You've seen that footage, yeah? You're not Daniel Andrews. You're not going to deny that one.
To be honest, I don't really care.
And right there is the problem. The government has given these unprecedented powers to a pack of power-hungry people who don't actually care. Then suddenly I noticed when we were standing there, a police officer from the police media unit walking by. Police media unit. How do you feel about them arresting somebody, a journalist? I'm here as a journalist. I have the passes. They've got all my things there. They've just arrested me out of nowhere.
What's your name, mate?
Avraham Yamini.
And
I work for Rebel News.
have you got all your permit?
I've got my permit on me. They've got it there. They've arrested me for. They now changed it to hindering.
Okay.
So I don't understand how they're in Victoria, in Melbourne. They've placed a journalist under arrest.
Yeah. Leave it with me and I'll make some inquiries and I'll come back.
And a few minutes later, the arresting officer returns.
So I'm just going to give you a caution, alright? Before continuing, must inform you don't have to say or do anything. Anything you say or do, maybe give me evidence. Do you understand that?
I do.
Alright. The hinder, you're between our police lines. We've got 2 police lines. You're in between. Our 4 commanders asked you to move and you've got in his way.
When did he ask me to move? The world is my witness. You've all seen the footage. He barges in as I'm doing a piece to camera, pointing, going, this bloke is not here for purposeful reasons, put him under arrest. Did anyone hear one time him asking me to move? I would have complied. I wasn't there to be in their way. I was there to report what was happening on the ground. It was obvious he didn't like me. He knows me. He recognizes me. He doesn't like the fact that I'm holding them accountable. But don't take my word for it. Let's watch it again. Numerous, quite intense, heavy-handed arrests here today. We walked around there was probably a good 2 hours where there was no arrest, no anything. It was quite peaceful until...
This bloke here is not here for any purposes or reasons. Put him under arrest.
So what's your...
All the journalists were there. I was where all the journalists were.
What's your reason for hindering police?
No comment. Please call my lawyer.
That's all right.
I've got my lawyer in my pocket.
So now what's going to happen now? You're getting released with inquiries pending.
So I'm getting released pending inquiry.
Yep. But I'm going to give you a direction to move on, all right? So you're not allowed in the Albert Park precinct for the next 24 hours.
Excuse me, police media unit, excuse me.
Do you understand that?
No, 1 second. Police media unit. I'm getting a direction as a journalist to move on from an event of public interest. Is that okay? Are you okay as the police media unit with this direction?
So you need to listen to the police.
So are you okay with that?
And then after you've been released, after your arrest, I'll have a chat.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep, no
Do you
one.
understand the...
I understand. Yep.
Do you understand that 24 hours and you understand the area?
Yep.
And if you come back, it'll be a continuation of
Well,
the
I'm having a
offence.
conversation with him.
You may get a ticket,
Yeah.
or you may get arrested again.
Yep.
All right?
So just to quickly unpack that, they allege I was hindering police, which I can easily prove I wasn't. And they're using that as a basis of their move on order, which means I haven't committed any crime yet. That's why they're releasing me. But now they've issued me with this move on order on a false pretense. Now, if I disobey that order, I'm committing a crime. Do you see how that works? In summary, they want to remove a journalist who is critical of the state issuing unchecked powers to police. And this is their tactic to do so.
Go straight to the media person.
Yeah. I've got to find my staff.
Go straight to the media person. If you don't go there,
I am going there, mate.
you're going to breach the...
Don't threaten me. Don't threaten me. I'm not worried.
I'm
You are threatening me, and you
I'm
think
making
like
it very clear.
yeah.
I'm making it very clear so you don't get...
I'm not worried. I ain't worried about it.
Mate, you just need to do what you've been
No,
told
I-
to do. So if they tell you you're in the way, they're trying to do their job.
I was never told that at first. All right, it doesn't matter. My point is, my one question that I have for you is, as the media unit, the police media unit, do you think it's okay in Victoria that a journalist was arrested, let go straight away? I had all the permits. I told them I had the permits. I was arrested and then given a move on direction from an event of obvious public interest. Is that okay? Are you cool?
Do you know what I told you before? You need to do what you're being told.
Okay, and what legislation? And what legislation did I get? Did I breach the?
With the police, and if you've got a complaint to make, you need to go through the complaints system. Okay, so that's
What's your
all I
name?
can say. Anita Brenz.
Anita Brenz.
Yeah, I'm one of the sergeants at the media unit. I'm happy to chat to you further about it, but just not at the moment. Okay, you've got to do what they say. If
No,
they say move on, you need
but
to
we're
move
in a country where there's freedom of press. There's freedom of press, and you should hold that dear. Now, as a journalist, I was arrested in front of everyone. I've got all the footage. I was arrested, thrown to the ground with my permit in my pocket. I showed the police before coming in here, and then I was given a move on order as a journalist. This is 2020 in Victoria. This is not supposed to be a police state.
How convenient for the police, eh? Leave now, comply, complain later. Who should I complain to exactly? The police, so they can do some sort of internal review? I'm good. We're going to go above the police. That's why I need you to sign and share the petition at standwithavi.com. But my day didn't end there at the protest. I head towards my camera guys who were waiting for me so we could leave together. As we did, we came together. When I noticed that they were standing where a couple of journalists who had actually seen me under arrest. And I thought I'd take the opportunity to ask them how they felt about my treatment. There was some young Channel 9 journalist, I don't really know him, and there was a guy called Paul Dowsley who has more than 25 years under his belt with Channel 7 News. They just happened to be standing exactly where my camera guys were waiting for me.
You got that caution there, yeah? You got that caution. See, I didn't get that caution and they threw me onto the ground.
Can you put your mask
Paul,
on,
please?
please?
You alright? Do you think it's cool that they're throwing journalists down on the ground?
I didn't see what led to your caution.
You got moved on, correct? I saw that when I was arrested. What was that move on for?
Just because we're in a police safe zone.
Okay. So they claim that I breached that, and then the footage is hectic of throwing me onto the ground based on that. Have you ever seen that in Victoria?
Sir, can you please put your mask on while you're near me?
You're allowed to as a journalist.
I feel unsafe with it like that. Can you put your mask on, please?
Are you allowed to film as a journalist without your mask on? Yes?
Only when socially distanced.
Socially distanced.
When
there we
socially
go.
distanced.
Okay. So can I ask you, I'm about to go. I'm moving on.
1.5.
So you're not 1.5 from me. Can you stop that, please?
And they've got their face masks on.
Okay, so I'm just asking a question. When they interview, they don't have their face mask on. I'm just asking you, have you ever seen in Victoria a journalist thrown to the ground doing his job, obviously covering an event of public interest? This is public interest, yes? Have you ever seen that in Victoria as a journalist?
I also did not see you get thrown.
The footage is going on. Okay. I've got the footage. Let's say it's true. Have you ever seen that? Yes or no?
I don't want to comment on something I haven't seen, sir.
Okay, mate. Now you've seen it. Can you comment? I'm not holding my breath. I offered to show it to him around the corner, but he didn't want to come. But a junior journalist pretending he didn't see what happened, or even the cops abusing their power again, didn't bother me that much. It was to be expected. What bothered me was the fact that a very experienced journalist didn't seem interested at all.
Are you cool with that?
Can I do a quick 50?
No, I've got to walk.
Arresting a fellow journalist is kind of a big story. It's huge. It's what they do in communist China. What I didn't realize is, until I was reviewing the footage, is that my cameraman just happened to capture the journalists talking between themselves before I got there. Have a listen to what Paul Dowsley was saying off camera.
Same here. They threatened me with arrest. What ticket?
For being in a park.
Yeah.
Like,
He was like, you're in a police officer. I'm like, wait,
what does the police
your
say?
officer over there, he told me to go stand next to the police meeting. You're not listening to me.
Yeah.
He goes,
And
"Don't be a
that's the
fucking
thing.
smart
I
ass."
don't listen.
And I'm like,
He said,
yeah.
consistency. That's what you hope for. A clear, consistent message. I'm talking about to the media.
Paul Dowsley doesn't mince his words when it comes to describing the police there on that day.
Threaten me with arrest. What ticket? What ticket? Ticket.
Now it's clear that Paul knew exactly what happened to me and that police in general were out of control at the protest on the weekend. But guess what? The seasoned journalist didn't feel the need to tell the truth in his report on 7 News that night. This is exactly why no one can trust the mainstream media. Because when they think there's no camera, they tell a completely different story.
Threaten me with arrest. What ticket? What ticket? Ticket.
But I guess I can't go too hard on Paul because, after all, who wants to pay the price of holding the state accountable? That night, after not being charged with any crime, not even being fined, I got a visit in a clear attempt of intimidation.
Wasn't involved in a protest.
Okay. Well, your name's...
I wasn't. No.
You were there, though. So let's not dispute that.
Are you going to Channel 9 tonight? Are you going to Channel 9's house? Are you going to the journalists in Channel 7, Channel 9? Are you going to their house tonight to compliance check?
If their name's on our list because they were processed for hindering, then yes, we will be.
So I was there as media. Okay. And the world's seen exactly like the first 10 seconds of the arrest.
Yeah.
Which is not the whole video. I've got everything from the moment that you guys let me into the rally, checked all my paperwork, and then arrested me. I was never asked. I was never asked to move on. Nothing like that. That is a lie.
Okay, well, I'm not here to dispute
So I've never not complied. You'll come into my house with my kids in the middle of the night when I have never not complied. I'm like every other journalist here. Don't come to my house.
Okay, your name's on our list because there's...
What's your name?
I'm Senior Constable Barrett.
Barrett.
I'm from Frankston Police, if it narrows it down.
Yeah, so you can take me off your list because you're not welcome at my house to do a compliance check to journalists who you're unlawful.
If we've got information that suggests that you're acting improperly,
show me one place where I've acted. I report. I'm a commentator. I'm in the media. Don't come to my house then.
We'll see you tomorrow.
You're on a list. We'll see you tomorrow. Police have crossed the line, and I need your help to fight back. So please, again, sign and share the petition at standwithavi.com because together we can win. I don't need Paul Dowsley or any other fake news journalists. I need you to stand with me and to share the truth. If you like that